Hello, my name is Mattie Oney, and I'm going to tell you a story from a South African Christmas. The name of the story is, What's Cooking, Jamela? Gogo and Mama were discussing dinner. Now, Gogo is another name for grandmother. And Gogo said, I will make the pudding, you can make it chicken, and Thelma can make a rice and morongo stew, said Mama. Now, morongo stew is just vegetable stew. And I think we'll have a lovely Christmas dinner, don't you? Yes. Well, my name is Jamela, and I know a little something about Christmas, too. Christmas is a time to celebrate the birth of Jesus, and also with a nativity play at school. Christmas is also a time of Christmas presents and spending time with the family. Once Gogo left, Mama said to me, we need to go to Mrs. Zidi's house and buy a young chicken. Okay. We get to Mrs. Zidi's house, and then Mama says, I get to pick the chicken. I picked a big, not big, but a nice red chicken. Now, Mama had said before that we have to, if we feed the chicken well, the chicken will grow to be big and fat by Christmas. But my red chicken was going to be great anyway. Mrs. Zidi gave us some mealies. Now, mealies is just corn to feed the chicken. As we were walking home from Mrs. Zidi's house, I told Mama that I named my chicken, and my chicken's name is Christmas. Mama just looked at me and smiled. That's lovely. Now, once we got home, Mama taught me how much water and food to feed to the chicken. And then she also said, why don't you try feeding it in your hand? In my hand? But Mama said to do it. So I had some corn in my hand, and I put it out, and Mama, she's eating out of my hand. Oh, that's so great. Now I can go tend to my other chickens. Well, that night, just before I went to sleep, Mama, how long till Christmas? Christmas is not far. As soon as that chicken gets big and fat, it will be Christmas. Every morning I would get up and I would feed my chicken and give her water. And if I had time before school, I would let Christmas sit in my lap and feed her from my hand. It was a wonderful thing to do. Now, I was having a wonderful day, and off to school I went. After that, Mrs. Zebig came to the house. Oh no, not quite yet. Mama was saying to me that chicken sure does eat a lot. So Mama would scoop up the droppings and make a fertilizer for her squash. And do you know, every day, my chicken and that squash grew rounder and bigger. And when Gogo would come by, she would say, how's my dinner going? You know, I didn't like that particularly. But I would say, fine, Gogo, fine. And what I didn't like was the fact that Gogo would kind of lick her lips, like the lady on the TV commercial who was selling fried chicken. Well, anyway, the next day, we had the nativity play at school. And I was Mary. And I carried baby Jesus on my back, just like a real mama would do. And my friend Voyo, he was a handsome Joseph. And my other friends, Taboo, Elliot, and Zinge, were splendid wise men. And they sang a song, Away in the Manger. And then they sang other Christmas songs as well. And they sang them to the beat of the marimba and the drum. And everyone joined in, and they sang as well. And everyone had a wonderful time. And in the evening, after I got home, I made a manger for Christmas. My mother looked at me kind of odd and said, "Don't get too attached to the chicken." "Okay, Mama," as I ran out to the yard to call Christmas, "Christmas, chick, chick, Christmas. I want you to see the manger that I made for you." Oh, well, Mama was a little concerned, but I'll let you hear it from her. I'm really concerned about how happy Jamela looks when she and her chicken are sitting side by side. How am I going to get them apart? How am I going to get the chicken from Jamela and put her in the pot? Well, on Christmas Eve, Mrs. Zeeby came by, and Mama told me to go to Thelma's house so that I could help her with her rice and morongo stew. And again, morongo stew is just vegetable stew. But I was looking at Mrs. Zeeby's hands, and they looked really big. And as she was rubbing them on her apron, those hands looked like they were about some business. I didn't feel too good about that. "Jamela, go to Thelma's house now." "Okay, Mama." But as I ran out of the house and through the yard, I grabbed Christmas. Christmas was flapping her wings and squawking, but I held her tight. As I'm walking down the road, a woman hollers at me, "Do you want to sell your chicken?" No. And this woman was fixing chicken legs for her customers. I quickly got away from her. I continued on down the road. There was a taxi that pulled up behind me and honk! It startled me so bad. I jumped up in the air and I let go of Christmas. Everybody was laughing and Christmas was running. Christmas ran in between the legs and went into the crowd. And I was calling, "Christmas, chick, chick, Christmas, chick, chick." But there was no answer. Christmas was gone. And I walked slowly back home. And I looked down the road and I saw Mama and Mrs. Zeeby. Mama looked real concerned. Mrs. Zeeby looked cross. I wished at that very moment that I had wings so that I could fly over their heads and high up into the sky and far, far down the road. Mrs. Zeeby said, "Where's that chicken?" "Gone." "Oh, Jamela," sighed Mama. Mama grabbed my hand firmly and we walked home. On the way, we saw our friend Archie. "Molo, Archie," and Molo means hello. "Archie, have you seen our chicken?" "No, I haven't seen your chicken. But if I see it, I'll tell it that you ladies are looking for it." So we continue on down the road. And now we're in front of Greasy Hand, the mechanic's shop. And he's working on a car and he's revving that engine. And Mama says, "Molo," real loud so she can be heard above the revving engine. "Have you seen our chicken?" What? Obviously Molo couldn't hear, But just at that moment, there was a loud screeching noise, and a cab came to a screeching halt. And all we could hear was people saying, "Get out, get out, get out!" The cab door opened, and out stepped a big, fat, red chicken. "Christmas, chick, chick!" But Christmas took off running across the street and onto the concrete and into Miss Salon's hairdressing shop. Chicken ran across the counter, over people's heads who had half-braided hair. The shampoo, the comb, the beads, and braids were flying everywhere. And Mama was like, "Move, move!" as she grabbed his basket and cornered Christmas. "Viva, viva!" said all the ladies. And Mama captured that chicken under the basket. Mrs. ZB came up, and she reached under the basket and she pulled that chicken out from the basket into the pot. "Mama, Mama, please don't let her hurt my chicken. Please, Mama, please." Mrs. ZB said, "It's just a chicken." "No, it's not just a chicken. Christmas is my friend, and you don't eat friends." Mama looked to the other ladies in the shop, thinking that they would be sympathetic, but they were looking at me, smiling sweetly. And they echoed, "You don't eat friends." "Nonsense," said Mrs. ZB. Well, the next day, I helped Mama prepare dinner, and the fertilizer that she had used gave the squash a very rich and soft and succulent meat. I scooped out the squash seeds and put them aside, and Mama put in some nuts, some breadcrumbs, some butter, and all types of herbs. Oh, it smelled wonderful. And the kitchen was filled with all these fabulous aromas. So when the family, and especially Gogo, came, when they stepped into the house, all they could do was smell all these fabulous smells. Gogo looked around and she said, "What's cooking, Jamela?" "It's a surprise, Gogo, it's a surprise." Well, everyone exchanged presents. And after they exchanged presents, Mama asked everyone to come to the table. And then she served them. The steam danced around Thelma's rice and margalgo stew. And when Mama took the top off of the squash, oh, it smelled delicious. I could see Gogo looking around for that chicken, but she didn't say anything. And after dessert, she just sat back in a chair, rubbing her full stomach, and said, "Oh, this was a beautiful meal. This is better than a 5-star hotel. But Cece, where is the chicken?" I jumped up from the table and said, "Gogo, I'll take you there, I'll show you." I grabbed Gogo's hand and we went out to the yard. And I said, "Here is the chicken. Mama gave it to me for a present. And her name is Christmas." Gogo looked at her and looked at me and grabbed me within her arms and pulled me close and said, "We are having a beautiful Christmas."